8-time All-Star, joining us from Las Colinas, Texas. From Irving, Texas, at the Las Colinas Country Club. We talked about this golf tournament that's on the Golf Channel all week long, the second annual Invited Celebrity Classic. We talked about it with John Smoltz yesterday, Joe Carter. Today it is Vince Carter here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you doing, Vince? How you been?
Rich, how you doing, man? All is well. Can't complain. Out here trying to be a pretend golfer.
Okay.
It's
okay.
going well.
How is your golf game, Vince?
No, it's pretty good. Since this retired life, I've had a chance to work on the handicap a little bit. So, we're down to single digits. But
we are.
Single digits means nothing when you're playing with these guys.
Which guys you talking about? The scratch, the scratcher, the baseball players? Is that what you're saying? The baseball players?
The pros, the real pros.
Oh, the real pros.
But the real pros. I mean, you go out here and you get humbled. Golf is a humbling sport in itself, but it's a great opportunity to be out here and kind of to see where you are and where you need to be, or where you think you are and where you really need to be if you want to consider yourself a very good golfer.
Who's the best basketball playing stick you know of?
Oh man, I'm gonna say Ray Allen probably is right there. Either Ray Allen or Ray Allen or Steph is out there.
Steph.
Ray is very good.
Steph or Ray Allen. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Jordan, have you ever played with Jordan, Vince?
I've never played with Mike, so.
That's why you still have your money. That's why you still have your money. Is that what you're saying, Vince?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. I know. I'm smart, man. I know to stay away.
Okay. Very good. It's kind of, speaking of Carolina, Vince, I mean, it's funny. When I left for work today, my wife, who I met in ESPN in the newsroom, she says to me, "Who do you got on the show today?" I mentioned Vince Carter. And she said to me, every time I hear Vince's name, I think of Stuart Scott. And I said the same thing. I swear to you, it's the same thing. Because she was there, when Stu and I were doing shows together.
Right.
And I just knew the way he felt about you. And if I'm not mistaken, was he delivered the commencement address at the graduation you walked at, right?
Graduation, correct. He sure did. Made for an unbelievable day, so it gives me chills, man, just thinking about it because, it was leading up to it and obviously the controversy, if you would, behind it, it was like all worth it. Man, I remember being in the back prior to walking out and he walks through and we sat there and had a 10, 15-minute conversation. Of course, it's always about Carolina and, our love for Carolina, but him just talking about, man, this is great for the culture. This is great. I just remember this is great for the culture, man. This is going to do a lot. This is something kids can look up to you about more so than basketball. Stuart's heart was unbelievable, and he just saw the big picture, and he was right. I mean, it made that day a lot better, regardless of the results. I missed the game-winning shot that night, but I still sit and think about that conversation, him walking in, just his smile and just like, my brother, dude, what's going on? And just going in a great conversation.
Did he? Because again, you walked on the day, right? No, it's the playoffs.
That morning, 9.
Clearly, yeah. Right? And so walk me through the decision you did make on that day, Vince, where you decided, I'm graduating and I'm gonna walk just like everybody else. Doesn't matter what I do professionally, right?
Rich, I come from a family of educators, and I was taught to be a student athlete, not an athlete student. Regardless of this business I'm in where I make a lot of money, yes. And the one thing I did, I made sure the night before commencement, I went to 2 days prior, I went to every staff member and player. And if you would, I asked for their permission. I kind of let them know about what I wanted to do, what I planned to do, how my itinerary, how everything was going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have a problem with that? And I went face to face with every person, and that's kind of what it was. And every person's like, hey, I respect it. That's fine as long as you're going to be, back in time for our game. That's important to us. I know it's important to you, but this is important.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, sorry. This is important to us. So I was like, cool. Everybody said something. And then, there's a couple of players, once I get to Chapel Hill that night before, had something to say, and then all of a sudden didn't like it or whatever. I was just like, well, I gave you the opportunity. You said into my face, like, yes, go for it. Great moment, but make sure you're back in time. So that was kind of the frustrating side of it. Nevertheless, go through it. All of that, like I said, with Stu and graduate, it was a proud moment. I will do it again, and I said that at that time I would do it again if this situation ever happened, because every person got their opportunity to walk across that stage. So for those who felt like, oh yeah, you're rich, you could just pay for it, you could buy your degree, but you didn't. You walked across the stage to receive yours, just like I want to do. So and then got on the plane. The one thing that people don't know is that I had a private plane. Matter of fact, we had a private plane and we had a backup plane just in case that plane broke down for whatever reason. So there was no delay. By the way, whose plane? I went with the owner of the team who was there at my commencement. So I had his support, and he wanted to make sure I got back. But the funny thing about it, Rich, is that not only did I walk, I got back to Philadelphia in time,
Mm-hmm.
and I was the first person in our walkthrough meeting. So when the team, the players, the coaches walked in, I was already in there chilling, waiting for everybody to come in for us to go through our walkthrough in the hotel. So it was just a lot said, and the story goes, this, that, and the fourth, and will he be back on time? I was back before our 12 o'clock walkthrough and was able to go through everything like normal.
And the 22-year anniversary of that's coming up in a couple weeks. That was May 10th when you walked. Yeah, man. And just before we put a button on
May
this,
20th.
because
May 20th.
May 20th. Yeah. So, pardon me.
Yeah.
My glasses. I should take them off for something a little distance.
Whenever.
May 20th. It's coming up. It's coming up 22 years on that, Vince. So just before we put a button on this, what was Stuart's speech? He was so proud of it, by the way. He was so psyched. Man, he was so jacked. But what did he tell the kids? What did he tell you and everyone else on that day?
One of the things I remember that stuck with me was to go for it. Don't be afraid to go for it. And I think that's what, put a button, if you would, on it for me. Is like, I didn't question my decision, but I felt even better about it because I felt like that message, he was talking directly to me. Don't be afraid to go for what you believe in and hold your head up high. And that's what I did, man. I made my decision. I spoke with everybody. I did everything the right way. All the people that it mattered to on my side of the family, on the other side of the organization, which was my job, I made sure everybody was kind of in the loop and understood if they had a problem with it or not. So I dotted the T's. I dotted the I's and crossed the T's, and I did my thing, and I was there. And I had the greatest opportunity to graduate and then hit the game winner to move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. Obviously, I didn't make it, but, man, like I said, I would do it again. And it was his inspiration and motivation that really made me feel even better about going through that process.
Vince Carter here on the Rich Eisen Show. And now, you and ESPN, right? It's pretty cool,
yeah.
Vince, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Stuart, again, I honest, I'd love talking about Stuart. He's been gone way too long, but he would freak out that you're working at ESPN right now.
Right.
He would lose his mind. He would lose his mind, Vince. He would lose it.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Right here on the Rich Eisen Show. So before I send you out to the golf course, let's do some of the analyzing right here on the show. Is it safe to say that the Clippers can't beat the Suns without Kawhi? I mean,
I'm going to say yes. It's safe to say. I think Kawhi is in a great place. He's playing great basketball, and that was a huge void. I mean, I think Russ and others, they did it by committee, but like the way Kawhi is playing and the way he played in game one is a huge loss. I mean, you can't make up the loss for, Kawhi and PG. You need one or the other. You don't have both. They're just going to make it tough for the Clippers.
And then the Kings-Warriors series, we saw Draymond out, and the Warriors took care of business at home. Just kind of feel Draymond comes back, game 4, it'll be an emotional lift for the Warriors there. And that one goes, what do you think? Does Warriors-Kings go 7, or you just think the Kings?
I think so.
Or you
I really do. I mean, it's whoever can win on whose home floor first, is in my mind, is the key. We got to see. I mean, I think it was understood. Everybody knew the Golden State Warriors, would struggle on the road, but the Golden State Warriors at home would kick butt. I mean, that's how it's been all season. So, obviously they say they can switch the switch, but so far, so it's going the way we all thought. Everybody will take care of their business at home.
And you've had, if I'm not mistaken, 2 career playoff games of 40 points or more, which means only twice you would have earned Dylan Brooks' respect, Vince. Right?
Wow. Yeah, I know.
What do you think? What do you think
Well,
of that one?
yeah, I guess I would have had to put 40 on him once, so for that to be the case. He's like, you have to score 40 on him. So,
I kind of go back and forth on that one. I understand you got to speak stuff into existence and feel and belief, but I mean, man, that's LeBron James you're talking about like that.
Yeah, and Rich, I'm like, but I feel like you have to account for those games that maybe somebody had a good game against him and they didn't need 40. Because the game was already over and out of hand, so it's a lot. There's a lot to account for. I have appreciation for for him and his confidence.
Yes.
Sometimes it's just everybody's like, don't poke the bear, but you just want to go out there, just do your job. Like let your actions speak, and he's letting his actions speak, but also he's doing it verbally and. It can get you in trouble sometimes. It can get you in trouble.
All right. So before I send you out on the course, Vince, who do you have in the finals and winning it all?
Rick, I have no idea now. I don't know. It's like at one point I thought Milwaukee was playing the best basketball, and I thought they would be the ones. And you got to get Giannis back, but I still think Milwaukee can do it. And in the West, it's a crapshoot. I just it's easy to say Milwaukee Suns and. I'm going to stick with that until we talk again, hopefully before where I have an opportunity to change my mind if need be.
All right, so who are you playing with first round of this Classics, the invited celebrated Classic? What are you playing with?
The only guy I know is Kurt Triplett. They put me with 3 pros, so I was just like, no, this is not right. This is not right. This is not right.
Yeah, come on, you're Vince Carter. That's it. How about that?
Yeah, I understand that, but give me the second day, not the first day.
Okay, well, you got to get out there. Okay.
Here we are.
Hit him straight, buckle to the hole. Right, great chatting with you. If you're ever in L.A., just please, I'd love to see you. I'd love to have you here, Vince. Thank you.
For sure.
Thanks again. That's Vince Carter, the one and only at Mr. Vince Carter 15 on Twitter and Instagram right here on The Rich Eisen Show. And you can check out the action today all the way through Sunday at Las Colinas Country Club in Irving, Texas, live on the Golf Channel, all 3 days of competition. Catch The Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.